Rexed podcast, a show for functional athletes who want to gain the champ's mindset. My name is Tom Foxley, and I'm the owner and head coach of Mindset Rexed. Before we get into today's show, I want to kind of give you guys a little heads up that within the next week or so, and lasting for a week, I'm going to put up a sale of the book Intensity Tolerance that I wrote, it's almost 2 years ago actually. And this book is I think it's usually £7, but I'll take it down to essentially cost price because we're going to order a batch of them for our uses. And the easiest way to go about this, instead of like getting a printer and all that stuff involved, is just to kind of take the price way down, order them, and then put the price back up afterwards. So if you keep your eyes out for the book Intensity Tolerance, which is essentially a guide on how to push harder in WODs and push harder in training and kind of put up with more discomfort. If you look out for that and get onto Amazon and search for Intensity Tolerance or my name, Tom Foxley, that should pop up pretty quickly and you can get yourself a bargain copy. I think it'll be less than half price for you. Anyway, so this is kind of a restructuring of a Facebook post I wrote the other day, and the reason I'm doing kind of restructuring a post like this is something that I very rarely do, but it's such an important message that I think it needs to get out there. You may have remembered, I think it was last Wednesday, was Mental Health Awareness Day, or whatever the right phrase is. And the point is this: there's one day out of 365 days that is kind of set aside for being aware of your own mental health and others with kind of their mental health deficit, whatever that is. But the whole concept of mental health, I think, is like, despite this day, the whole concept is misaligned with what health truly is. Let's talk about what health is in a very physical sense and kind of the familiar sense of our physiology. Health is eating the right stuff. It's looking after yourself by sleeping. It's hydrating. It's training often and recovering. And it's not something you do one day out of 365 days. It's something that takes an everyday approach. And this is kind of the issue, because we raise the awareness for a day, and maybe for the next 3 days your awareness is a bit heightened, and then it starts to diminish, and then it gets round to October, whatever it is every month, or every once a year, and you go, oh yeah, it's that thing again, and it just happens time and time again. You eventually you lose that awareness. But for yourself, and if you've ever kind of dealt with any mental health issues, or if you've ever just wished you were more mentally strong, this isn't something that can be ignored for 364 days out of 365. This is something that needs to be refined and worked upon every single day. And then there's the other concept of mental health. Now, I really do see mental health like a spectrum from excellence. You know how I think CrossFit HQ have the kind of the spectrum from illness to excellence, or whatever it is, from illness to health. Okay, this is a very similar concept, but for mental health. We have to realize that we sit somewhere on the spectrum of that. Just because we are absent from depression, just because we are absent from mental illness, to put it that way, it doesn't mean that we've hit our limit in it. It's not binary. It's not 0 or 1. It's a gradient of mental health that you can always top up and always improve upon. And I think it's crazy to dismiss this daily approach of improving incrementally our health, our mental health, because we don't know enough about it. The information is there. There's almost too much information, in fact. But what that means is we become a little overwhelmed by what is there. We become a little confused by what we really should be doing. But we also aren't told the benefit enough. And let's just quickly touch on the benefit of training our mental health. We can use it through the lens of our performance in the athletic way. So if you're a CrossFitter or whatever kind of athlete, we can use this, and we know that when you start training your mental health, from the hundreds of athletes that have been through the Inner Athlete Performance Camp, as well as myself, what we see is when we do this consistently, our lifts improve, even our body composition improves, because we're no longer justifying eating crap or binging on shit food. We start to learn to work harder in WODs, we become more consistent, and we essentially become the athlete we dream of being, because we've started taking this daily refined approach to, okay, I'll put another tick in that box, or as Chris Moore liked to say, I'll put another drop in that bucket, because we know drip by drip the bucket will fill. So that is the kind of the thing that we need to realize with mental health. It's not something that we can ignore on a regular basis, but B, it's not something we should ignore because we feel the absence of illness. We have this whole plethora of opportunity mentally that we can utilize, that we can harness or harvest this opportunity that lies in front of us. And that is mental health. It's like, okay, I'm not just ready to be absent from illness, I'm ready to take this bull by the horns and make the most out of my life in not only training but in the rest of my life too. And that starts by a consistent daily habit, just like you turn up to the gym and squat, just like you hydrate every day. I'm going to do something that improves my perspective. I'm going to increase my awareness of my own mental landscape. I'm going to find a consistent, elegant solution to this. I'm going to kind of see the world with a better perspective, and therefore see my own thoughts with better perspective, and therefore achieve what I want to achieve more easily. And that is the approach to mental health that we as athletes, but more importantly, we as human beings should be taking. This is just because it's Mental Health Day +1 or whatever, it's Mental Health Day plus a week by now. This doesn't mean that we could ignore our mental health. This should be the priority, because it's our filter through which the rest of life is filtered. So it's our way of progressing. And if we ignore this, we're missing opportunity. And this doesn't, just to recap, this doesn't matter if you're at the very beginning of the spectrum or the very end of the spectrum. We can always make improvements. We should always take action to improve on a daily basis. And this is the foundation of Mindset RX in short. This is the foundation of the Inner Athlete Performance Camps and the coaching cert and the one-to-one work that I do with athletes. And this isn't me trying to sell you on Mindset RX as a whole, but it's me trying to say, look, mindset work is important. It's something we should spend at least 10-15 minutes a day working on, especially when we consider we spend 2 hours a day working on our physical body. It's something we need to take daily action towards, improve slowly and steadily, and eventually we get to where we want to be. So if you enjoyed this, if you think other people need to hear this, and I think this is one of these podcasts that people really do need to hear, then please share it on social media, tag me in it at Tom Foxley on Instagram, or find me on Facebook, and tag Mindset RX as well, or hashtag Mindset RX, so Mindset RXD. And if you enjoyed the show, share it, leave 5-star review on iTunes, and you can also check us out on Facebook.com and all that kind of Facebook.com. What an old man I am. You can check it out on Facebook, all that kind of stuff. And until next time, I'll speak to you soon.